Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to the Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my videos, simply take what resonates and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. We are coming into one of the biggest shifts of 2022. We have a full beaver moon as well as the last lunar eclipse for the year. And if anybody has been feeling some emotions or some unsettled energy coming in, or if you've been struggling a little bit, perhaps you've been a little frustrated or short fused, you're feeling the effects of that full moon coming in. We are coming into a great big shift. And it's going to bring up a lot of things for many of us with this full moon. Hi, everyone coming in. It's good to see you. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. So this full moon, for those of us who are sensitive to full moon energy, I think that many of us are feeling some of that coming in now. We are being pushed really hard to take a look within, back to that heart space, and to kind of do a little bit of housekeeping in there, a little bit of housekeeping as to what needs to come and what needs to go, and to kind of align with that letting go process. That push is coming in really hard over the next couple of days. And if you've been having some struggles with people, if you've been having some things come up with people, it's because we're being asked to deal with that, to move through that, to process some of that, and to heal some of that. And quite often, we all do it. We all kind of get in a little bit of resistance. We kind of step out of that heart space and get into some resistance, and sometimes we really don't want to take a look at what's in there. And with this big full moon, and it's coming with a force of energy, we're really being asked to navigate through that. And I think part of the reason is what's coming for the next calendar year. I've channeled some great things that I'll be sharing with you all soon here on the channel. I have channeled some great things that are coming up for 2023, but it's going to require us to go into 2023 with a lot of this housekeeping. This inner housekeeping is kind of what Spirit's been showing me, is kind of sifting and sorting and processing and healing and letting go and doing the work from that space within our heart, coming home within our heart. The answers for what we're seeking are within. They're not external. There are external things that help us navigate through some healing. There's there's all kinds of different modalities to help with healing, but the healing essentially comes from that heart space. Hello, everyone coming in. It's good to see you joining me. When it comes to processing some of the things that we have been holding on to with this shift that's coming with this full moon, I think that many of us, depending on perspective, I think if we don't navigate through it with a softness for ourselves, with that self-love, with that, I've talked about this a lot, with that, I did my best with that version of me. Even yesterday, we're all different version, even slightly, than what we were yesterday, because there was lessons and there was learning. But when we navigate through that with that space from our heart, with loving ourselves through the learning, and perhaps we may not be happy with the outcomes or happy with how we handled things, we're being pushed to soften that, take a look, and shift with it. And that's the big message for this full moon and with this lunar eclipse, is say, you know what, that was a version of me that was doing my best, and I was having a learning experience, and that learning experience is bringing me forward, and I have to navigate through that. It sounds very different from that critical perspective that we often have on ourselves. We're often really hard on ourselves, and with that hardness on yourself, you're carrying that energy within you. You take that energy within that heart space, and this full moon and this lunar eclipse is bringing us out of that. We're being asked to come out of that. We're being asked to kind of work through it. We're being asked to look at relationships are still a big, huge thing that have been coming up in the energy forecasts, have been coming up in the full moons, have been coming up for a little while. We're being asked to kind of look at those relationships. And I think for a big part, it's because of this big shift. We're being asked to kind of say, does this relationship need to have some work, or does this relationship need to go? Do we need to start going in different paths? And that's very much okay. And whatever you're feeling, is right for you at this stage in your journey. So how do we navigate through some of this energy? How do we navigate through some of these emotions and these feelings and what's coming up and that bubbling? Many people are going to experience that bubbling. I'd be curious to hear from you in another week or so to see if you had that bubbling come up. Quite often we lean into that, or something happened to bring that forward. Sometimes these feelings need to come up. We need to work through and navigate some of the things that we have kind of buried down there. Many of us, for many reasons, with our experience on our journey, it's been this pushing down of just burying the experience, burying the emotions, and just kind of layer after layer. And with this full moon and with the energy that we're kind of navigating through, it's just kind of like this uprise of, hey, it's time to love this version of you and allow some of that bubbling up to be released and to be let go from a very loving perspective, from that space within your heart. We don't spend enough time in our heart space, you guys. We tend to pull out of there because of the feelings, because of the emotions. We tend to shy away from there, but all the answers are right in there. It's not an external reach. Reaching externally kind of puts a patch on things, or a band-aid on things, or pushes that feeling or that situation, it pushes it back down. We're here to learn, we're here to grow, and the energy and the moon and and the eclipse and all the vibrations and the collective, it's meant to bring us to that teaching space. So as you navigate through this full moon, as those emotions come, as the situations land in front of you, the universe is going to be showing you a lot of things in the next, I'm going to say 42 to 78 hours. The universe is going to be showing you this needs to be cleaned up. Come to your heart and clean that up a little bit. You will feel better at the end of it, working on ourselves and working on all those experiences and navigating through it. When we're in the thick of it, when we're in that processing piece, when we're in that healing space and that moving forward space, doesn't always feel good. And sometimes we think, well, this isn't really working. But when we kind of work through that, when we kind of allow ourselves that heart space, when we allow ourselves that time to let go, we create new space. And coming into 2023, we're going to need that new space. You guys, we're going to need new space. There's some great things coming. There's some things, that if those who choose to go forward, those who are going to choose the new directions, it's got to be cleaned up for space. You can't add to something that's full that hasn't been cleaned up. Love yourself through it. Spend some time connecting with what resonates with you if you possibly can. Whatever resonates with you, I always say do that. Whatever gives you that space of being able to process and let go. And if it's journaling, if it's meditation, if it's sitting under the stars or sitting under the clouds, if it's going for a hike, do some of that. I did post a meditation video for letting go. I think I did that last night. Have a listen there, or have a listen to other spiritual teachers that resonate with you on different ways of letting go. Find your way, make it your own. I say that all the time. It's good to see so many of you coming in. Is there any questions on anything that I said? I'll give you all a minute to kind of plug in some questions for me. There's an interesting situation going on here in Ontario with our schools. So I'm not sure what my mornings are going to look like this week. Students are home in one of the boards. The Ontario government and one of the school boards is navigating through some difficulty with contracts. So I do have a remote learner home this week. So I'm not sure what my week is going to look like for the lives, but I will do my best to log on when I can. And I'm just going to keep sending energy to the situation to shift it for what's best for all involved. Okay, I'm just going to put my glasses on and just answer a couple questions before I do have to go. Heather, is there a move coming into my life? A message from my spirit guides. Heather, when I lean in there, I do feel that there is a shift coming as far as a move, but I feel more than one move coming there, Heather. I feel one maybe residential, but I also feel like you're moving. Spirit showing it to me in a really interesting way. Spirit showing me you taking like a couple steps across like a checkerboard, like you're going forward across the checkerboard in more than one perspective. The move doesn't feel really close to me. It feels just a little bit out, not really far, but a little bit out. I also have to get you to lean in, Heather, and just trusting that the right space, the right physical space is going to arrive, and just keep asking for the right space that serves my highest good. I need to kind of lean you in there with asking your guides, is the right space with that serves my highest good, and I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to trust the process on how I get there. Danielle's tarot, what does Spirit want me to know at this time? Danielle, I really feel that you're really good at allowing and trusting, but I feel that what they're showing me is that there's going to be a turn up of that. Like I can see my spirit dial. I feel like you're leveling to the, like almost like I don't want to use the word video game, but I feel like you're leveling up and taking a few new next steps. And I just have to remind you to always stay in that allowing. Good. I really feel good things coming in. I also feel that you're really good, Danielle, at navigating through a lot of your spiritual practices. So good for you. I also feel your spiritual practices are going to shift. They're going to shift coming into, I feel like December-ish. I just don't know why I feel like there's this December shift with some of your spiritual practices, but it does feel really good. Kimberly, about to smudge my house. Any good mantras? Oh, that's a really good question, Kimberly. Thank you very much for asking that. I'm a big smudger. So I always really lean into asking all energy that doesn't serve my highest good to please leave, and filling that space with love and light and growth. I also call in archangels when I'm smudging my space. I ask them to walk beside me, and only the highest level of love can fill that space. I also run through some gratitude when I'm smudging a space, because lessons are really important to me. So thank you for the lessons. That it's time to really move that on and allowing that. I also will often hum. I don't know why I will often hum. I'll also play my singing bowl. If you have a singing bowl or bells or chimes, wind chimes work really well, just to help with the intention. Remember, it's all your intention, Heather, but sometimes just adding a little something helps you connect to the intention. So for me, I'll play my singing bowl. I don't have it handy, but I'll play my singing bowl, just feeling the vibration and aligning with the intention of filling that space with that higher vibration. I'm even more excited, Danielle. You are all so sweet. With this full moon, do you use a manifesting check? Oh, Sandy. I am a big big visual. I've always have been. I think it's because I visually connect to the spirit dimensions. I've always been that visual learner. I do carry at all times a manifesting check in my wallet. And it's, I always leave it with an abundance for what I need. I will often add to that check, if there's something in particular that a goal that I'm working for. I'm kind of cautious with my check of abundance with putting in like large amounts. But that's just a Lana thing. I like to have what I need. I mean, we all want millions, right? Like, but I always put with what I need, or I'll put for a specific thing. And it's always taken me, I'm in great directions with my manifestations. And I always sign the back of my check with for my highest good and with no harm to no one. That's just the Lana thing. I also put citrine in my wallet. I carry citrine in my wallet. Citrine's a good manifesting crystal. I also lean into a lot of gratitude for what I have right now. I'm big on gratitude when it comes to my manifesting as well. Sandy, I do hope that helped you. Beaver full moon. So the beaver full moon is named the beaver full moon because of the time. This is the time of year that the beavers prepare to go inwards. It's also a big opportunity for, closing of the harvest as well. And it's attached to a lunar eclipse. So that's bringing in a lot more energy into that as well. Danielle, thank you again for the message. Got to do morning workouts. Good luck with your workouts. I was at the gym this morning. I felt that time change a little bit. I was at the gym this morning. Almost every morning I'm there for about 5:30 a.m. So I do all that beforehand. Let me just scroll through some of the questions here. Oh, some of you all know each other chit-chatting here. I love that. I hope, Kimberly, I hope that resonates with the smudging, and wishing you lots of love and energy surround that. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If not, I apologize. Is it Nichelle Maycock? What do my spirit guides want me to know? First of all, right out of the gate on that, I need to acknowledge that you're doing the best that you can. I felt that like come right through me really quickly. You're doing the best that you can. And sometimes you need to kind of remind yourself, especially when things are going a little bit rough, or if I always consider it like turbulence. When we're going through some turbulence and learning, I need to remind you that you're doing the best that you can. I don't know if you kind of get really hard on yourself when things start to feel a little wobbly, or if you tend to stay in the wobble a little too long, but your spirit guides want you to know that you're supported through your navigation of your learning experiences. I also need, I keep seeing really bright light around your feet. And I need, usually when I see bright light around your feet, it's usually that you're heading in the right direction and that spirit's navigating you into the right direction. So I don't know if there's been a change in direction or if there's a change in direction coming, but it's surrounded with a lot of bright light. It's brilliant bright light guiding you along your way. Wolf Storm, any messages from spirit for me? Wolf, I have to tap into what the number 4 is for you. Is the month of April significant anniversary, birthday, or passing, or are you one of 4? The number 4 just literally just jumped right out at me there for you. Wolf, I also feel I need to push you into a little bit of self-care. I don't have an oh my goodness feeling with it. It feels more of a spiritual self-care. I need to kind of get you kind of leaning in there a little bit more. I also feel that there's a lot of growth there for you. I feel like this big growth spurt. It's almost like, when you see a little kid and you haven't seen them for 3 months, and all of a sudden they're like, oh wow, you really grew. I feel like there's a big growth spurt, like just right in front of you, with a lot of personal growth and a lot of growing forward. And it's almost like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. And away you go. It's almost like you're doing it like, I don't want to use the word like it's really fast, but I feel like you're like, okay, got that lesson now, check. Got that lesson now, check. I do have to check on my distance learner here. Like I mentioned earlier, our school boards are off here, so we are remote learning once again. We are going to get through that. We talked about positive attitude and positive energy with some kiddos this morning that I was connecting with, and navigating through another pause and taking an understanding of, yes, this is going to be a difficult week perhaps, but we're all collectively going to get through it. I'll take one more question here. Wesley, on the computer business end of things, I'm getting help on creating a business plan. Resume on steroids basically tomorrow. Need finance to start. Wesley, I think that you're going to get there. I feel like I have to tap into trust. I feel that you're extremely talented in what you're trying to create here, and I feel like I have to lean you into trust and to continue connecting to your spirit guides with, I'm going to trust and allow, and start working on some manifesting rituals, but really, really trust and lean in there. I just have to kind of I don't know why I feel, Wes, I don't know if you have discouraging energy coming from outside of you, like if there's anybody discouraging you or discouraging energy. I just need to kind of protect you, visualize a ball of light with that, and allowing yourself to grow. I also, Wesley, just want to remind you to take away the time factor. Don't pressure time, that I feel like you really want this now. I want this now. I want this now. I have to take that away and just say, I'm going to align to allowing it to unravel as it happens. Wesley, I learned that big time in my mediumship, in my spiritual business. I really wanted it right away. I want to go full time right away. And spirit just said, stay part time, keep doing what you're doing, just trust the journey. And then boom, you're there. And it was just literally the door flew wide open to go full time into my mediumship. And I feel like I needed to share that with you. It's just, I don't feel it like extensive, but I really feel like you just need to trust the steps in the process. If we skip steps in the journey, quite often we have to go backwards and step on them before we can go forward. So I just want to leave that with you, Mr. Wesley. I am wishing you all a very glorious, brilliant Monday, and enjoy the full moon. Navigate through some of this energy, work on some of those feelings as they pop up. If you're feeling emotional, tap into that, and just go to the heart space with what needs to be cleaned up. Love, light, blessing, and as always, a spirit guided day.